Reading is important. It will give you knowledge, it will give you a new perspective towards the world, and it's a fun activity, right? And if you heard from different CEOs or big personalities in the IT industry, or doesn't matter which industry, they will say read books. And they also give you recommendations, right? So if you go to Bill Gates' recommendations of different books, you will see an entire website of recommendations, right? In fact, there are different websites available where you see all the recommendations from different companies or different CEOs, like Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. And then we also have that as our resolution for the year, right? So every 31st night you decide, okay, so in next year I will read, let's say 10 books or 20 books or 50 books, right? So that's your target. So in this year I had that target, but unfortunately I was not able to achieve that in first 2 months. But then now I'm in quarantine, so I thought, hey, let me just use this time to read some books. Now, how do you choose a book? Of course, you can go to Google and you can search for best books available. The problem is, not everyone will like every book, right? So if I say, hey, this is the best book you can read, maybe you will not like it. And that's why big personality, they have their own recommendations of different books, right? So I went for those recommendations, I picked some of them. Then I also had a list of books which I want to read, maybe because of the recommendations from my friends or recommendations from my subscribers. So I got this list of books and I bought those books. And there's one more important thing, right? So when you buy a book, don't look at the price of the book if you really want to read it, right? So don't just go to Google or Amazon, search for or sort that books by its price. I know price is or money is important, but then when you read a book, you're not just investing your money by buying it, you're also investing your time. So let's say if one book takes, let's say, 1 month to complete, you're spending your 1 month on one book. Right, so maybe it should be a good book, right? It should be a book which you really want to read. And of course, I'm not asking you to judge a book by its cover. Maybe you can judge a book by the reviews. Maybe you can judge a book by the recommendations from the same field, right? So I'm into education field or tech field. So normally I prefer the books which help me in this domain. And of course, I also read some books from the outside my domain to get a new perspective towards the world. So this is my recommendation list. Okay, I can't say recommendation. These are the books which I read. Now, some of the books are audiobooks and some of them are ebooks. Unfortunately, I was not able to buy the physical books, but then I went for the ebooks. I have a Kindle with me. I went for the audiobooks. I do have the Audible subscription, which is helpful. And every month you get 1 credit, so you can buy 1 book. And fortunately, I was having 3 credits, so I went for 3 books, right? And then I will also tell you why I got that book and what is there in that particular book. So let me start with the books I read or listened to. The first one is Prepared. Now this book is recommended by Bill Gates. So I went to the website or the portal of the recommendations, and then Bill Gates recommended this book. Now this book talks about the education for the educators basically and for the parents. The way we have the schooling system now, it's broken, right? The education system is broken. We need to rebuild it. The next one is a scientific book. So I was browsing my Audible and then I got this book. I read the reviews. It was good. And this book is Reality is Not What It Seems. Now this book talks about the history of science, how different scientists came up with a theory, right? So from going from Galileo to Newton to Einstein to Planck. So it talks about all different theories and why we got some theories, right? It also talks about the quantum gravity, which I was not able to understand completely because it was an audible. And when you listen to a book, your mind may divert from here and there. But it's a great book. The next book is about Snowden. I have watched the documentary on Edward Snowden. I have seen the movie Snowden, and then I got more curious to know more about Snowden. So this book, which is Permanent Record, talks about the life of Snowden from his childhood to the NSA to Russia. It's a great book actually. The next book is Ikakai. So in the month of Feb, I went to a college and they have given me this book as a token of appreciation. I went for a seminar or a discussion. It was a discussion about technologies. So I went there and then I got this book. Now, the book was there on my table, on my side table of my bed for 1 month. And then I thought, hey, let's give it a try. And then I read this book. It's an awesome book, which says if you really want to live your life fully, if you want to live a longer life, you need to keep working. Don't wait for the retirement. So there are a lot of jobs where you wait for the retirement period, right? So you say, hey, I will work for, let's say, 60 years max or 50 years, and after that I will take a retirement. In fact, I don't think that's a good way of living a life, and this book also talks about that. The next one is NLP for dummies. Now, NLP is something I wanted to know more about from a long time. So one of my friend has done this course in depth, and then he was talking about NLP a lot with me. I thought, let's give it a try. And I read this book just to understand the basics of NLP. I will not recommend this book to everyone. Not everyone will be interested in NLP, but good to know concepts. The next book is Hyperfocus. Now, when you work on something, when you read something, you will get distracted, right? Maybe because of the people around you or because of the devices around you, right? So nowadays we don't have one or two devices around us, right? We have a laptop, maybe you have a tablet, maybe you have multiple phones, and every time you will get some notification, maybe a WhatsApp message, maybe a SMS, maybe a call, or maybe you will get tempted to go to Flipkart or to Amazon to check out the new products, right? Or maybe Facebook for that matter. So whenever you work on something, it's important to build focus, right? You have to keep focus. Maybe work continuously for 2 hours. Don't even touch your devices. But then this concept is there from a long time, right? It's a very old concept. One more concept which I got for the first time is the scatter focus. Now, there are two things. One is hyperfocus and second is scatter focus. Now, when you want to focus on one thing for a long time, if you want to achieve that, go for hyperfocus. But then if you want to be creative, if you want to get more ideas, you have to go for scatter focus. Now, I was doing this from a long time for this channel. So let's say I want to make a video on, let's say, top 5 programming languages, or maybe I want to make a video for blockchain. Now, if I want to make a video today, I will not make that video maybe today or tomorrow. I will wait for 3 to 4 days. Now, what happens is when I build this script, okay, I don't write script, but then when I decide the points which I want to talk about the technology in a video, I wait for 3 to 4 days just to, when I wait for 3 to 4 days, and then when let's say I'm doing some house chores, or maybe I'm making a tea, maybe I'm walking somewhere, I'm into a scatter focus because I'm not focusing on one thing, and that's where I will get some new ideas. I will be more creative. So when I make a video, that will be a creative video, right? So that's important. That's what I got to know from that book, a word basically. Maybe most of us are doing that already in our life, but then that's a word, scatter focus. The next book is The Algorithms to Live By. Now, this book is more for people who knows about computers, who knows about how computer works, and you can link this book with your life. So everything you do in your life, and if you want to make it more effective, or if you want to make it more optimized, maybe we can use computer algorithms. Maybe example, in our day-to-day life, we try to sort things, right? So there are some things which are needed to be sorted. There are some things which are not needed to be sorted, right? Then we have types of memory, right? So in your brain, you have hard drive, you have SSDs, you have RAM, you have cache. So if you can implement all those computer knowledge in your real life, maybe you can make your life more effective. That's what I got to know from this book. I'm trying to implement that, but it's difficult, right? It's difficult to implement the computer algorithms in real life. And then there are 2 more books which I didn't like much, but good to read. One is the Let's Talk Money, which talks about the personal finances, in which I'm very bad. And the next one is 21 Lessons for 21st Century. Good book to read if you have free time, but then I've not enjoyed it that much. And then it's not compulsory to finish the entire book, right? So example, 21 Lessons book, I have not completed. I have not completed that, and not even Ikigai, I guess. Ikigai is 80% done. So yeah, that's about this video where I've talked about the recommendation. If you have your recommendation, we still have some time in quarantine, or maybe I'm not planning to go to office for next 1 month. If you have some more recommendation, let me know in the comment section. I will try to buy those books from maybe audiobook or the ebook. So that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section, and keep reading and keep learning. Bye-bye.